Good evening. Welcome to the February work session for the city of Hiram. Pastor McGrady.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Cliff has been out on extended sick leave here for a while, and he's finally back in the saddle, so let's get to work.
That's great. Father, as always, we thank you for this day and this time. Father, we've learned to appreciate life, health, and strength. Father, we're saying thank you right now for keeping our children, keeping our families, our husbands, our wives, our brothers, and our sisters. Father, we say thank you for that double hedge of protection. We say thank you that you are healing. Thank you that you are life and strength. Father, as always, I pray, God, for these appointed and elected officials, God, Father, that you would give and lead them in your wisdom, lead them in your knowledge. We give them a grace and a favor, God, to do what's best. We thank you now, Father, and we bless you. Father, in Jesus' name I pray, with faith believing. Amen.
Amen.
Right now, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance by the students of Hiram Elementary.
Song.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job.
Thank you. Principal, the show is yours.
Thank you so much. I've got this routine now. So thank you so much for having us again. It's an honor to be here to recognize some of our amazing Hiram talents. We have one that might be a minute late, so I'm going to hold off for just a minute. When boys and girls, when I call your name, you'll come to the front. You'll get your certificate, and you'll get your treats, and then we'll stand up here to the pictures. Okay, we will start with our first grade student. This student is an amazing Hiram Hornet. They demonstrate the 3 B's: be safe, be respectful, and be responsible in the following ways. They strive to follow the rules in the classroom and throughout the school setting. They are always eager to help the teacher and friends and is very enthusiastic about learning. They always try their best and maintain a positive attitude. In addition, they show Hornet pride by participating in school fundraisers, events, and extracurricular activities. The personality certainly shines through each and every day. We love having Michael St. George in our class and at Hiram Elementary.
Thank you.
This student from 3rd grade has been nominated to be recognized for being a leader in the classroom and shows kindness and respect to everyone that they interact with. They work hard on their classwork and never give up, even when things are difficult. They show tolerance and compassion for others, and they are a wonderful representative of good citizenship. Miss Janiyah Drew. This next student always completes assignments on time and demonstrates a strong sense of responsibility towards their schoolwork, belongings, and classroom duties. They demonstrate leadership skills by taking initiative, helping others, and being a positive role model for their peers. We would like to congratulate Ms. Shia Harrison. This student always shows what it means to be a good citizen, not only in their school, but also in the community. Their infectious personality radiates to students and teachers alike. They give of themselves and are always willing to go above and beyond for anyone. They are a leader in the classroom and in the after-school program. They lead the 5th grade tutoring team to help with second and third grade students in both reading and math, and they are always looking for opportunities to lead, improve themselves, and to help others. Congratulations to Ms. Hadea Adams. We're going to go ahead and recognize, hopefully I might get there, but we will go ahead and recognize these two because we want them to celebrate their great success as well. This student in kindergarten is being recognized for being a star student. They are the definition of our 3 Bs at Hiram Elementary. They are respectful, responsible, and safe at all times. He's always the first to help another student. He's always on task and doing the right thing, even when no one is looking. I'm so proud of this student and the light that he shines every day. It is our pleasure to have our second grade class, and no, I'm sorry, I got all messed up there, I'm sorry. It is an honor to have him represent, this is second grade, we have Mr. Richie Banks. Right, our kindergarten 3 did not show. We'll go ahead and do pictures and hopefully they might get here in just a minute.
I apologize. All students who are recognized today will receive 2 complimentary passes from the family venue in Fulton County, so I will have that for you tomorrow.
And I will make sure they get it.
Okay, everybody, we're going to squeeze together. And we're going to back up. Yeah. Back up. Squeeze together.
No tickling.
No tickling.
Parents, you'll get able to take pictures after the thing. Yeah, so you come all the way up to the front.
Yeah. Let's go here. There you go. You got it. Perfect. Squeeze together, we're all friends. Yeah. All of you.
Oh, thank
All right, so we're gonna smile for my pictures, and then we're gonna stay right here so parents can take a picture, okay? So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and stay still. Parents, you're more than welcome to come up and take pictures.
Stand in the middle.
Richie smile when we just say it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate your time.
Parents and family, if you'd like to stay for a city lesson, you're more than welcome to stay, but if you'd like to exit and go to dinner at this time, exit stage right.
I don't blame them. Can we leave? Hey, Tiffany.
And sneaking in during the festivities, our Post 3 Commissioner, Virginia Galloway. Thank you for coming tonight, Virginia. Discuss a resolution affirming the request for annexation by local act of the General Assembly. Jody?
Good evening. What you have before you is a resolution that simply does that, is to affirm that you do move forward with the proposed map that you have in the package. There are some minor changes that have taken place through our discussion with lady down at the state capitol that does the maps for the reapportionment, Gina Wright. She was extremely helpful in the process to help me better understand what we need to be looking at if we're going to ever engage in this We weren't completely off the mark, but they do look more closely at census tract data, and you'll see in the map that was presented, there's tiny little numbers in and amongst the different areas that we're talking about.
This one.
Filling in the map for us, and those are population estimates that the Census Bureau puts out, that they utilize for reapportionment and items such as this, so that they can see where they need to carry the boundary. So you have the map. There are a few minor changes to it. You'll see that it doesn't go as far south along 92 to the Greystone property. And then there are a couple of little areas that you'll see in the sub-maps where there's a red section attached to the maps itself. And that's an example of if you wanted to capture the road frontage where there is commercial, you would have to expand that into whatever's behind it, because that is the census tract for that particular area. So you couldn't get like along 120 going up to Macklin. You couldn't get the road frontage there near the Noonan Dermatology Center, which is directly north of them. You'd also have to pick up supposedly about halfway into the school that's located there, which is Peavy Ridge. So just to give you an example of what that is. Same thing is if you look down at the second subset map, you'll see what appears to be kind of a shark fin. Best description I can give it, but it's the red section. To the left side of that is the Goodwill store down to the Discount Tire. But to pick that up, you would actually have to pick up the whole census tract, which carries you back around the Greenfield Road, and then back down Greenfield to the property that's already in the city, which is where the Chick-fil-A is. If that gives you a point marker. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to entertain it. Fortunately for us, we had Jason, who sat in on the conversation with me, and Gina Wright. Again, she was extremely helpful. Jason was very helpful. And if you got anything you need to add?
I would also point out there is a, if you look on 278 south of Lake Road, there is a white section there on the map. There are several commercial parcels in there that do not reflect on this map, that we have carved out separately to be annexed. We had to use the specific legal descriptions for those parcels because of the importance to the city and the fact that they were a very small part of a larger census tract, and we didn't want to bring in a larger census tract. Wanted to make sure we brought in those commercial parcels abutting the north side of 278.
And that is Goodwill down to Discount Tire, but it is exclusive to those. It will be individually considered. That's what the meets and bounds description and the title work that Jason engaged in addresses.
So how far south are we going down 92?
You will stop. You actually go to Bill Road,
And then it stops.
and then it stops.
Any other questions?
So, then what was the reason for them to change the map the way we had it drawn down?
Again, you're either gonna capture more than what you intended by the census tract data, or in the case of extending down to where Greystone is, they had actually made a request to the state legislature of not to be considered in the annexation, and that was the direction I was given.
So,
Go ahead.
I guess my next question is, because we've been doing this for a while, and we were told to get the expert from Kennesaw State, expert in this, right? And we had to pay him a nice little money. And he said the map was perfectly fine, and there shouldn't be any problem. Now, if we pay an expert, I mean, I can understand if we pay him, let's just use $500. And we know it's a lot more than that, but if they claim to be an expert and they give us expert advice, then it doesn't take place. Somewhere, something didn't happen right. Right? I mean, does that make sense?
Well, until you get to the state legislature and discuss with them what you propose.
same way the guy from Kennesaw State should have known that, because we were told to hire.
No,
We were not
I-
told to hire.
I know what you're saying, but what our state legislature said, once you get that done and you get it in, the state legislature has the ability to go ahead and redirect it. So, I mean, we're at their mercy. I mean, they're the ones that do this for the entire state of Georgia.
Yeah, the work product that Kennesaw State turned in, I don't believe really is, I think they did a good job. They were showing what the impact study of what our proposed map would do.
So in other words, we just paid him for nothing, basically.
Well, this captures.
No, we couldn't have went forward if we didn't have that
That's what
survey.
I'm saying, but he made us do this, then turn around and still change whatever he wanted to, after he made us do this. after
Yep.
he- That's just-
So
that's
the
really
law-
aggravating.
If I may add one thing in regard to changes in the maps. One of the items that we were requested from the Office of Legislative Counsel, they're the attorneys that work for the General Assembly that actually draft the bills. At one point, they were asking us to put together 230 legal descriptions, which would be a legal description for every parcel involved in the annexation. Now, the amount of time that would have taken us, my opinion, well beyond the end of the session. So at that point, we reached out to the reapportionment office for assistance. Joseph Gullett was helpful in getting us the assistance we needed there, which enabled us to use the map that they created. We had a big Zoom call, and she looked at the data, and she said, I've matched this about as closely as I can to the map that y'all provided. Some areas a little more, some areas a little less. So that was part of that analysis. And thankfully, we were able to get it done in the course of about 48 hours to get it back to legislative council so they can draft the bill and have it done. One thing I do want to point out to you all, that because of the amount of property involved, because of the amount of residences involved, it is highly likely that there will be a referendum if the bill passes, where the residents, i.e. the voters, in the areas proposed for annexation, they'll be able to vote yes or no as to whether or not the annexation should go forward. If a majority votes in favor, the whole thing comes in. If they vote against, the whole thing stays out.
And see, that's why we strategically not to capture all of it to avoid putting it on the referendum. That really makes no sense, because if we would have put it, if we wanted those people, we would have went and asked if y'all want to come in. So we avoided that. So, you know, most people don't want to come into city limits, so it's not fair to try to force them into that. That's why we particularly stayed away from that. But now you're saying, so that will mess up the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, this is just.
The long and short of it is, it won't be done this year, correct?
That's up to the General Assembly. You know, whether if they pass the bill, then it will presumably have to appear on the ballot.
So why don't, if that's the case, then we might as well, because, so in other words, you'll say Greystone said they don't want to come in, that's fine. But you're gonna make the citizens that don't want to come in, that we tried to avoid getting to come in anyway, right? Give them the opportunity. That's basically what you're saying, right? Yeah.
There is some of that.
It's a lot of that.
And there's also a requirement, sometimes you can avoid a referendum.
And that's
But
what we
it's
try to do.
it's ultimately up to the General Assembly as to whether or not they're going to require one.
Why don't they just go around and knock on these people's doors and ask them if they want to come into the city of Hiram, just to say, because we kind of figured most of them don't, and that's why we avoided that. I mean, this whole thing has been going on for how many years? And then
Too many.
It's too many. Then they, after we took our time and strategically avoided the referendum, they go strategically make us do a referendum that we tried to avoid, and we paid for it.
And to address that avoidance, the residency requirement is set by state law. Once you hit a certain number,
That's
you're over a
right.
number, you trigger it automatically.
And we stayed under
When the
that number.
state reapportionment office ran the areas, they informed us that we are way over in regard to the residence threshold. If we wanted to avoid a referendum, we would have to reduce a number of these areas. And that's because they have the latest census data. That's where they're pulling that from. They get that when they redraw the reapportionment maps.
So what ballot would it be put on?
I'm going to presume November.
Okay.
But that's just ultimately, whatever the General Assembly says, that'll be the ballot it's on.
So in other words, if it fails, we'll stay looking like a Swiss cheese that we try to
Yes.
avoid. That which makes no sense, which makes
There'll be no
absolutely.
change, but, and again, at that point, you can continue with other potential annexation methods.
Like what? We done spent money to get this done the right way, and you talking about.
Yeah, we're just trying to usher it through consistent with what y'all indicated.
Yes, there's nowhere near what we indicated. There's nowhere near. It's what they indicated, and I just don't think it's right. Because we see throughout the news, most people don't want to be annexed in or won't even be in a city like the people in Mapleton. They're suing. They're trying to say it's not right because they put it on the referendum. People don't want to be forced in, and yet you're saying we're going to try to force them in, which we try to avoid. Well, not force, just give them up to a ballot, and they're going to say no, and then that's going to mess up all this, like Home Depot. Ain't got nothing to do with those people, because it's Home Depot is not even in the city, which makes no sense. And that was the whole idea of this. Stuff that doesn't make sense should be in the city limit. Those people, we weren't bothering those people. Because they're far enough away, and we didn't,
We were taking more businesses than residential.
Oh, yeah, I know, that's exactly what the guy from Kennesaw State said, hey, y'all
Yeah.
done a good job at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating, because we've been trying to do this for some years. Not 1 year, not 2 years, but a whole bunch of years, and then when we think we got something planned out correctly,
Somebody screws it up.
yeah, I'm through with it, Frank. I ain't gonna say nothing else.
Okay. Good night, Irene.
That's right.
Anyone else? Okay. Discuss FY '24 mid-year budget amendments. Jackie?
Hello.
Included in your packet are the mid-year budget amendments. There are a total of 12 minor and 1 major budget amendment. These are all in the general fund. 10 of the 12 minor budget amendments are all increases and decreases in each general fund department. For an example, an overage in the police department for computer purchases is offset by an under budget amount for police salaries, therefore making the overall police department have no changes in their original budget. The 11th and 12th minor budget amendment is due to a fire at 76 Seaboard Street, also known as the Church Kent Building. We received a $25,000 check for the insurance claim that went into a revenue account for insurance reimbursements, and this was specifically for repairs to the 76 Seaboard Street in the General Fund Community Services, which was the overages in that department expense line. There is one major budget amendment, and that is the elected officials budget line, and that was for professional services being over budget. This was due to expenses for an archaeology study at the cemetery, surveys for the easements, and proposed annexation study. These were all unbudgeted amounts, and there is nowhere in the elected officials budget to make the expense even for it to be a minor budget amendment. So that was to be a major. At this time of year, we should be at approximately 66% for the general fund. Each department in the general fund is less than that, with the exception of the elected officials, which is at 68%. Public Works is at 46%, Community Services is at 63%, Camp Hornets at 50%, Parks 23%, Police 53%, Court 44%, and Admin at 58%. Our general General fund revenue is at 80%. Any questions?
Thank you, Jackie. Discuss live streaming.
I requested that this item be added to the agenda to revisit, since we do have two new council members, and would like to get input from the two new council members to see if they feel that live streaming would be beneficial. I do believe, and still believe, that live streaming would be beneficial to our city. It provides our constituents an opportunity to get, to be at the meeting live time, and they don't have to wait 48 hours.
What's the wait time on the post for
48.
the stream?
We've reduced that now to the next morning
As of when?
as of today. Yeah.
Yeah, right
With the new system
Oh, today?
set up.
Okay. All right.
Anybody else?
Question,
Huh?
I'm sorry. Just watching some of the live streams, I noticed there's some editing. Is there a reason that some of the videos edited or some conversation is removed? Or?
No, ma'am. It's not edited.
It's not.
There's the intro that's placed on top,
Mhm.
but if there's conversation you can't hear, that's simply the audio.
Okay.
It's not edited.
Okay. So the residents are able to see exactly everything that's going on.
What is the difference in cost? How much more for the live streaming?
Unless I know which way you want to go, I don't have any type of estimate or idea.
I do believe we had this conversation in the past about the cost, and the cost was already, we've already exhausted those funds to enhance the audio in the courts. So that money has already been spent to enhance the sound system. So if we wanted to go live streaming, that expense would be less at this point, correct?
Again, I
Well,
don't know.
okay.
Do you
We
want
don't know.
Facebook Live? Do you want TV? Do you want YouTube Live? I don't know what the consensus is. And once I get that, we'll pursue getting information and prices.
Well, if anybody's interested, I would like to know what that cost would be. I love and appreciate what the county commissioners do. I was able to watch their video as it was being filmed and recorded. So I get access to that and not have to wait. But I know now we don't have to wait, which is great, but I'd like to get those numbers and see
And
what
they
it
also
is.
put our meetings on TV 23 as well.
Not many people access TV 23. I was thinking more social media. Social media is the vehicle that most people use to get information, is, you know. So I'd like to know what the live streaming with Facebook or any, well, Facebook really works. If we can explore that, if there
I would
is a
just need
consensus.
from
If
the
there's a
council
consensus.
To tell me what type of live streaming, first of all, do you want it?
Yeah.
And then second of all, which avenue do you want? And then I can come up with prices with,
Well, I
again,
thi-
I'm flying completely blind. So
Okay. I think
I'll have
some
to-
people may not be interested until we know what the price is, how much it would cost the city. So finding out what it would
Again,
cost.
I need
Okay.
to-
Can I ask Councilwoman Byrd, is there a reason that you wanted to move to live stream?
For the same reason that you asked, I've been told there's certain things that, there are people in the audience that witness certain conversations or dialogue, and when they reviewed it on the video, it was no longer there. So I would say for transparency.
So I want to definitely directly address that, because I want to know the meeting, and I want to know what conversation, because that is a very serious situation.
Very.
Okay.
Right now, we pay
you get that
Scott,
information?
or we-
I
to
can.
do that
I
part,
can
and
absolutely.
now it's going to be Isabella with the SD card that we will directly download. The number of meetings I've watched from beginning to end are not missing a thing. So again, that is a huge, I don't want to say accusation, but I take that very seriously, because I take all of this seriously.
As
So
we do.
I need to know the meeting, and I need to know what conversation's missing.
Well-
But I would also like to add, live streaming is not gonna change the audio in the room. So if something is inaudible, it's gonna be inaudible on live as well. There's not gonna be a difference, it's just gonna be they get to watch it now.
Melissa, is there anything that can be done about the audio? Because I have to
Can.
admit, when I watch it, it's like trying to
Scott's
hear it.
been wanting new microphones for a while, but as we've discussed over and over and over, microphones are only as good
As
when
people
you
use them.
So if there's
fantastic microphone, but you're sitting back like this talking, we're not gonna hear you. These would work just fine, speaking into them. So,
That's what they're there for.
so do we have a consensus on what we're wanting to look at? So I'm not spinning my wheels going all over the place. What are we, your thoughts?
I don't see the benefit of the live stream if we've got an accurate depiction that goes on the very next day.
I agree with Mayor. Now that I've just learned of that minutes ago, my concern was prior, but since learning that we do have it available the following, but as far as getting that information, I'll get that information so that way we can address that concern.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Discuss the council retreat. You had it on there.
Oh, I didn't, actually, this was a carryover from last time, so I didn't add this on here, but I initially did.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you're absolutely right. Sorry. So yes, the retreat, I feel it is very important for us to have some agendas on, and what I wanted to know is, has everybody submitted what they feel would be valuable to add to the agenda so we can discuss at retreat? I've submitted mine day one.
I have not. I have not. Only because I didn't know exactly how we were going with the retreat. And it's definitely going to have to be on a Saturday due to the fact we have people who work. Yeah, you, Tiffany, Bob.
Bob work?
Yeah.
Maybe out of town.
For the record, I do work. I just have a flexible schedule as a real estate agent.
Well, I have a flexible schedule, but sometimes courts get in the way of that and say, you will be here, and I will be there.
However, I'm okay with Saturday. We can, I guess, start off with that. Does Saturday work for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, one day sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I did secure 2 facilitators, and after speaking to GMA provides, Georgia Municipal Association provides training for over 500 cities, and I asked if there is a criteria for the facilitator, and they said no, a facilitator can be our city manager. Many cities use their city managers, or it can be a pastor. It could be anybody that we want to carry out the retreat. So I secured 2. Freddie Broom, he is with Georgia Municipal Association, provides newly elected official training. 2 of us have attended that training. You guys will be attending that training as well, and we were moved, and we learned so much, and we thought it would be a great value to us to have him facilitate. So he is willing to do that. I spoke to the CEO of Georgia Municipal Association. He is providing us a place, venue at no cost to the city. However, GMA's facilitator will cost us, and I submitted that in 2022, so I'm sure the prices are more increased since then. We also have the Lieutenant Governor appointee who is present with us today. Hello, sir. We have Mr. William Harrelson. He has offered to do it at no cost. I don't care who the facilitator is, I just know the value that this is going to bring. So if we don't have any options, those are the 2 that we have at this point.
Melissa, is GMA, they're Monday through Friday, so will their building be open on Saturday?
That I didn't ask, but I know, speaking with our council, we don't have to have it there, though. But
Yeah.
I can ask.
I don't want to get out of town alone.
Okay, no, we don't have to do that. We can, I
Okay,
mean,
well, I was just
It has to
wondering.
be out of town, but it can't be in Hiram. That's one.
That's
Well, it can be in Hiram, but it can. It doesn't have to be out. It is an open meeting. We will have to post it, and if we are in Douglasville and somebody wants to come to Douglasville, they're fine.
there are several restaurants in the Douglasville area, downtown area. We can explore those, or maybe we can submit to you, Jody, and let you know what we each have in mind, and the time frame, and the agenda items. And then we can expedite this, at least and can we start today with the month?
Gee,
Because this
I don't
is
have
the-
my calendar with me.
So the months are January, February, March, April, May, June, July.
Very good.
Well, I'm saying, no, Doris, like, if we could just maybe pinpoint a month that may work for all of us.
What you thinking?
What month? I was gonna leave it up to you guys.
Oh, I
And
can,
I'm more flexible because the majority of you have set schedules. I'm a little more flexible. And I've wanted it since 2021, so I'm open to wherever you guys pick a location.
I can tell you my March is booked. My March, it really is booked.
Okay.
Because I am going away and it's,
April, I know, is busy with the holidays for families.
Bob, look at your calendar.
What do you think, May? What about May?
I'm just looking to see, I don't think I'm scheduled to be out of town for any length of time in May.
We'll just caution you about May, there's already a full day slated for budget discussions in May on a Saturday.
right.
So,
May 18th.
May 18th, yes. And ramping up doing budget, this is between Jackie and myself pulling our hair out collectively trying to get everything ready for budget. Staff does a wonderful job. Each department does a great job helping get all that together. But just want to caution you about what
Okay.
days we pick so that we can make sure it works
Okay.
all the way around.
June?
Thinking after, at least after the budget, at least.
Yeah, that makes sense.
June.
Most definitely.
I think after the budget.
there's a cost to the budget cost too.
Oh, now, remember June, at the end of June is the conference in Savannah.
I don't know how these cities do it. That's the way they do.
It
They're
doesn't have
so-
to be that far after. You said
Would
it's
it
the
make-
18th? We just, we gotta remember it's a holiday at the end of May, so.
Does it make sense to have this meeting prior to the budget?
You can. I'm not, I mean,
If, because we, you know, speaking about beefing up
Well,
the staff and things of that nature.
We may be talking about some issues at that point in time that may be affecting what we do for the budget.
Correct.
So it might be best to do it before we
Prior to
have
the
the
budget.
budget
I think so.
meeting.
my primary goal was to avoid having the retreat on the same day we're having the budget discussion.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we can't do that. No?
So if y'all want to respond maybe to me, let me know what days in May or April or whatever we're talking about.
Okay, so submit maybe 2 tentative dates prior to our
I'll have some
schedules.
similar days, and we'll see if it works. I'll push those back out to you and say it appears that the majority of you can meet on this particular day. How about the rest?
Yeah.
Then adjust your schedule accordingly.
I just have one date in May that on a Saturday, that I have a conflict. But April and May Saturdays are pretty wide open for me. I'm not out of town that often. So I'll get you an email.
I could do any Saturday in May with the exception of the 4th.
I
That's fine.
thought we're
It's the
talking,
one I
That's
can't
sorry.
go to.
Okay.
May
is that
4th
May?
May 4th is,
I thought we were talking about April or May. Okay.
and we,
What's wrong with the following Saturday, the 25th? You said
Of
the
what?
18th Of May.
Is that going into the holiday?
The holidays there.
the holiday's the 27th.
The 25th works for me.
Yeah, that's a holiday weekend.
It works for
25th works for me.
25th.
Like he said, that's the holiday weekend because they'll celebrate
Yeah,
it
it
on
might
the
be some
27th.
people that want to go out of town that,
Well, if it
what
works
about the,
for
what about the 18th?
The
That's when the
18th.
budget meeting.
Okay.
Oh, that's the budget meeting.
Oh, we wanted to do it prior to the budget meeting, I thought.
Yes.
So the 11th? That works for me?
11th's good for me.
I have a conflict, but that's me.
Be your,
Or fine, but I have conflict.
what's the first Saturday in May?
You just said he had something to do on the 4th.
Can it be on a
Yes, on the
Sunday, the
4th.
19th?
On a Sunday? No.
No? Okay, sorry.
Nice try.
I pray at home.
Oh,
God is with me wherever I go.
whoever you
So the 11th, what did we say? The 11th was,
It's a Saturday.
can we do the 11th? No, 3, I heard 3, yes.
What about
Yes,
the
for me.
last Saturday in April? Okay.
And then it'd be good to
He
have-
can't do that in April, the last Saturday. May 4th, you can't do it.
The 11th.
Can't do the 11th?
No, I said the 11th.
Oh, okay, let's do the 11th because that gives us that
The
week
11th's
prior
good.
to our budget meeting.
Right. 11th.
Okay, now you're, that's okay. We're
There'll be
going
no
to-
clerk here.
Jody can act as a clerk.
Do we, oh,
You can definitely do it.
She won't be there, and she needs to be.
Can we,
I'd like to be, yes.
can we record it?
No, she's there to answer
For her.
questions.
No, no.
I didn't
that
know,
doesn't-
it can't work like
What
that.
about May 25th?
That's after the budget meeting.
It's after the budget meeting and the holiday weekend. How about the last Saturday in April?
27th, I can do it.
Oh, he can't. Go the weekend up.
The 20th,
When's Easter?
I could do 20th.
Okay, I'm just asking.
About the 20th?
20th of April now? Bob?
Any Saturday in April is good for me.
It works. 20? Melissa, 20th works?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I think so. My pre-birthday. fun.
Jackie, does the 20th of April work for you?
Oh, am I gonna be there?
I thought you was last year. Oh,
No, for the
sorry, I
budget.
thought you
No,
were
she's
there last
talking
year.
about the budget hearing.
Retreat.
This is for
Oh, the retreat. Oh. I'm confused between the two now.
Yes, ma'am. Pre-birthday.
I'm not going to ask about the hours. Jody, you just let us know,
We'll work on that. We just need to lock in a date
And the
first.
wares.
and the location.
The who, what, and where.
Yep,
Yes.
that works.
Are y'all sending that to Jody? The wares and the who's
Yeah.
and topics?
Well, Jody, can you initiate an email, and then we'll respond to that email with the dates, with the, not the date, locations, and time,
Times, topics,
and topics.
facilitators.
Sorry, I know you have a lot on your plate, I'm sorry.
He's doing it.
Okay.
Take what all you've missed. Bring up meeting.
Okay, discuss approving an increase in the city manager spending limit from $5,000 to $25,000.
How about 6?
Huh?
How about 6?
6 what?
Discuss hotel motel.
Oh, yeah, all right. I had it
Sorry.
blocked off. Discuss hotel motel excise tax disbursement. The EDO was going to be here this evening to do a presentation for us, but their audio-visual stuff wasn't working correctly, so they'll schedule for next Tuesday.
Okay.
Now, discuss approving an increase in the city manager's spending limit from $5,000 to $25,000.
I'm sorry, just looked, I had something that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention. We all received a spreadsheet of the expenses from one of our entities that we're in partnership with. I
Hotel
just
motel?
Yes. I just wanted, since we're on this about the EDO, it just threw me off that we were tabling it for them. My question is, and I know you've done some research, can nonprofit funds be used to enhance for-profit businesses? Because from the spreadsheet that I see, I'm a little confused, and I just needed some opinion on that.
No.
Okay. So, did everybody have a chance to look at the spreadsheet?
Yes.
Are there any concerns besides mine? Because I want to make sure I'm looking at this with the right set of lenses.
I didn't bring my magnifying glass today.
There's some concerns that I saw, and I just don't want to bring them up. I want to see if there's any concerns. I don't want to be the one bringing up, because I'm still learning how hotel motel dollars can be spent. And I could tell you one thing that struck straight at me as a red flag. $600 being spent for wining and dining after an event, and that's, I don't know if hotel motel dollars can be spent in that manner, and I just wanted to know if anybody has knowledge on that.
Where was that one? Do you have a date next to it, honey?
I do, hold on, I'm sorry. I worked
Oh.
on, I'm want to make sure I'm being a good steward of our city's
Well, I'm
dollars.
glad you were able to print that out bigger.
Okay.
Because I couldn't.
So, let's see, there is a,
There's dates on the side.
all right, well, $3,690 was used to reimburse the entity's for-profit, and maybe I'm getting this wrong, so this is why I need the help of the team. There's mixing of credit cards. I'm not sure if there's mixing of cards. I don't know whose credit card we're paying interest on. But the one that I know for sure that struck at me is the place called the Tavern for $558.87. Meal and tip for after event. That I'm not understanding.
At the tavern, there was, that had to do with part of the shuffle skate that the people had come in from because 3 of us, well, actually 2 of us went to the, when they, the entertainment that came down, and he had the board members and other people down there. And it was at the, you had the guy, the Spider-Man guy or something? Okay.
Yes, the Griffin Brothers also had lodging, accommodations, flights, and we paid them to entertain. And I understand that's entertainment that brings the people. That is, I can't even tell you the amount, but I think we need to look over this carefully and understand there's $3,600 for reimbursement of, and I understand what was explained to me, but a lot of these concern me. Flights, DJs, and these are all events that were, if I'm wrong, please correct me.
I can't find it.
Most of these events have already been in motion prior to receiving hotel, motel dollars. So you have a for-profit receiving nonprofit funds to enhance and increase this business. So I don't know, well, you've already answered the question, you said no.
No. Hotel motel tax money is earmarked for only 3 categories. Tourism, conferences, and trade shows. It is not to put on the event, it's to advertise and get it publicly known that these events are taking place.
Okay, because I see about, maybe correct me if I'm, there's $1,200 for reimbursement, well, not reimbursement, to the maintenance of the shuffle, the floor, the skating rink. If you guys don't see it, I could pass this around.
I find that one, but I didn't find the one that you were talking about, the tavern and the hotels and airfare.
Okay, rink service, $1,600,
But where?
$1,600,
Can you
October
give-
22nd.
That helps.
Oh, sorry. So on October 22nd, the rink surface work for the competition. That's a for-profit surface. We're using hotel motel Hiram's money to resurface the floor for the competition. I understand marketing, wings and sliders, food, $439 for whom? I don't know if DJ services, I understand, but those are the DJ services that would have been used prior to receiving hotel motel dollars. Payment to Lisa Dunham for travel costs, I don't know who she is, but I'm sure somebody can answer that question if we ask. City of Hiram sponsorship, I get that, $1,500 that was proposed in the budget initially when we agreed to the partnership. There's just several things that I would love for anybody to tell me if, well, Bob, thank you for answering the initial question. Legal fees of $720 for what? So I don't know if anybody else is concerned about this or had the time to actually look at this, but I'm just concerned that what is the benefit to Hiram? How does $3,600, and this is from different, I just don't, I need help understanding this. And then, not to mention, these events bring in members that are paying $20 at the door, but I don't see, so that's the profit that they're getting from using hotel motel dollars. So we're having an event with hotel motel dollars, paying, and you said we can't do that. And then there's a profit going into the for-profit side of things. I can't stand in support of this because of those concerns that I have unless somebody can address it. I'm done. If anybody else has any concerns or comments, the floor is yours.
Well, I'll give you a breakdown that I did. There's $33,983 rounded up that was paid to Hiram Hospitality. In going through the expense report, the allowable expenses that I see was $11,177. So that leaves what did I say? About $22,000 that was spent. This would not be authorized under tourism, conferences, and trade shows.
So this entity is non-compliance?
Non-compliant
Okay.
in my review of the records.
After speaking to DCA, I got the same information, well, I can't say I got the same information. There was concerns that were shared. And of course, we do have that, what did you guys call that? A snapshot?
Snapshot.
Yeah.
So that snapshot that we had was 2 line items coming up to maybe a little over $10,000. So of course, it passes the test because it's advertising. So advertising is one of the things. But if we submitted this to DCA, I don't know what that would look like. But this is not advertising. This is actually the execution of putting on an event for the city of Hiram.
Right,
we
and the
have to-
funds are not, the funds that we give to, they call it a DMO,
What does that mean?
is designated, you would ask me that
No,
question.
no. I'll go Google, I'm sorry.
No,
I'll
I
ask
don't
them.
have to look it up.
Designated monies.
Designation Marketing Organization. Now, who came up with that, I have no idea.
Okay.
But that's who we give the funds to.
Okay.
And it's only used for planning, conducting, or participating in programs of information and publicly designed to attract or advertise tourism, conventions, or trade shows. That's by Georgia law. It's not for putting on an event.
So, in other words, you're also saying at one time when we had a car show, that was an event and tourism money couldn't be spent for that?
Not for putting it on. It could be used for advertising the event.
Yeah, advertising. it.
Advertising it could be used for, yes.
Okay.
And they have a whole litany of where your advertising can be. Internet, newspapers, magazines, billboards, banners, things of that nature.
Mr. Phillips, do you have an opinion?
Yes. Now, bearing in mind that I have not reviewed, or been presented with reviewing any particular expenditures, just speaking to the law, following up on what was said, the law defines 3 categories: promoting tourism, conventions, and trade shows. The law defines that phrase as planning programs of information, conducting programs of information, or participating in programs of information and publicity designed to attract or advertise tourism, conventions, or trade shows. That's what that money is supposed to be spent.
Any further comments, questions? We could look into doing a review on this, but I think we've kicked it enough tonight that we can work to do a review on this to see the legitimacy of it all. Does that work for everybody?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
we can work to do a run over of this list and see if it's legitimate or not.
Yep.
But it's a time-consuming process, and I don't think it's something that we can do sitting right here. Anybody else?
No, I was fine with this.
Huh?
I'm fine with us discussing.
Okay. Okay, item number 7. Discuss approving the increase of the city manager spending limit from $5,000 to $25,000.
Council members, this is the second appearance of this item. It appears twice because it is a home rule amendment to the city's charter. The proposal was to increase the city manager's spending authority from $5,000 to $25,000. At the last regular session, the ordinance passed with a 3-2 vote. It will be, again, certainly available for your discussion today. Any questions you have, and it will be up for a vote once again next Tuesday.
I'm still for raising it to the 25,000.
I am also.
Just had a question. So the charter does outline the contracting procedures for the city manager. Those will stay the same. It's just the amount that's increasing.
Yeah, it's simply the amount. In fact, let me read it to you. It says, is a contract where the value of the city's obligation does not exceed, we're changing it from 5,000 to 25,000, and is for an authorized, and is for an expenditure within the approved city budget. It doesn't deal with anything other than changing that amount from 5 to 25.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's oftentimes when I present these things, the way that I will indicate it, if it's underlined in there, that means that's the language that we're adding to the charter, or adding to an ordinance. If it's got strike through on there, that's language that we're removing from the ordinance. So underline is add, strike through is delete.
So I'm sorry, which part were you deleting?
We are deleting the phrase that says $5,000 is for an authorized budgeted expenditure. That's being deleted, and in its place, the language being added says $25,000 is for an expenditure within the approved city budget.
Is there a reason we're removing authorized budgeted?
In my discussions with coming up with this, I think that there was some confusion as to what that phrase actually means. It's clear if it's an expenditure within the approved city budget, which you all approved, authorized budgeted expenditure was a little less clear. That's why we worded it that way.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Discuss Paulding Chamber Gala sponsorship.
I requested that be added to the agenda only because I was confused from what led to it. And what I mean is that on January 30th, on the agenda item, it read, discuss sponsorship. The sponsorship, as it relates to the chamber, is a $1,500 sponsorship. That moved to new business on February 6th. We didn't know if we had enough people to fill the table, nor did we in the past, but we always spent $1,500. $1,500 has been, I believe, for at least the last 8 years. We never had a discussion, at least in my presence, nor with the, when I asked the question specifically, if there was ever a need in the past to purchase individual seats, the answer was no. We've always purchased a table, even with not being able to fill the table. I was told last year when I asked you specifically, with all due respect, Mayor Moran, well, you brought your wife you said you brought your wife last year because you didn't have enough people to fill the table. So I said, well, let's apply that same concept to this current year and continue sponsoring.
It was at the council's recommendation that I bring my wife.
It was not voted on because I was here last year.
It
It was not voted on.
recommendation. You wanna
And
start?
Leo was invited, he brought his wife, and we've had other council.
All right, so what's the point of the discussion?
First of all, with all due respect, I need you to reciprocate you're being toxic right now.
am?
You cannot talk to me as if I wake up in bed with you, because I don't.
That's right.
You're going to be professional when you address me. I'm an elected official, as you are. I don't do that to you, and I expect reciprocation on that.
Oh, you get it.
Oh, is this a threat?
No, I said you'll get it. Carry
Okay.
on.
All I was doing was talking and expressing myself, and you continue to do that, and I've been watching on the videos, and people are even concerned about the way you address me, and I don't do that to any of my council mates because I'm a professional, I lead with integrity, and I expect to be treated the way I treat others. I don't treat anybody on here with the disrespect, and I expect that from my council mates. We are a team. I send you messages like, hey, I know we're not good, but I'm sorry we're not good. So I try to work on these personal relationships, which is why I say we need a retreat to deal with these. This is not okay. This is not okay. So I'm going to finish my thought. In the past, we have never, and correct me if I'm wrong, City Manager Jody, have we ever voted on tables or chairs or seats, or have we always sponsored with the full amount of the $1,500?
Melissa, when
Sorry, that question was for Jody.
well, I can answer part
Well,
of
I'm going to
it.
address it to Jody first. He's our city manager, Doris, and I'm not councilmate. Doris, please allow him to answer the question.
I can't answer with absolute certainty over all the years that we participated in. We've only purchased seats, but what I recall was purchasing tables.
Okay, so that can be confirmed because we have records. We take accountability for the way we spend money, so we can always verify that information, correct? Okay, so this seems to me as retaliation, right? And now I'll be straightforward with everybody in here. It's retaliation because of whatever drama has been created with the chamber, and we've had meetings with the president and an executive board member, the chair, to address the concerns. So I'm going to pull away from that and stay focused on what this is the sponsorships. $1,500, I will remove my opinions and stick to the facts. In the past, as you stated, and as it can be proved, we have never had a discussion or a vote whether or not to purchase single chairs or a table. In addition to that, we are fiscally sound, and we're supposed to be fiscally sound, and we're worrying about our dollars. I believe that. I know there's a difference of $250, but when I continued on February 6th to refer to the sponsorship amount of $1,500, which has been recorded, that is what we were basing it on. So I was told that, I was informed that we purchase individual seats, which takes away the sponsorship benefits of being spotlighted as a city. We always talk about the benefits of tourism. We talk about the benefits of advertising. In fact, we prematurely severed ties and terminated the contract, and we were only halfway through that contract with the Chamber of Commerce because of the level of, or the lack, the level of advertising. So we want advertising, is what I understand, because we severed those ties, but yet for $250, which has already been budgeted, we did not take that advantage. And Mayor Moran, with all due respect, I don't know if one person on this body has the power or the authority to demand the removal of our logo from any of the chamber's marketing, whether it be social media, whether it be their newsletter, print. One person cannot do that. So my reason for putting this on the agenda is so we all have clarity. If it's two people that vote in favor, I'm okay. That's the democratic way of doing things. That's what we're here for. So I put this on here to discuss, to get your input all, because nobody was aware that the logo was, that it was directed that logo be removed. I don't know if anybody knew that we were purchasing 8 individual seats as opposed to a table which accommodates 8 people, and lose the opportunity to be spotlighted and advertised. So here we are. What are your thoughts? The gala's on the 23rd, I believe?
Yes.
And Ms. and you want, what is, why is this?
We've already purchased it, but we purchased it as individual tickets. So $1,250 as opposed to $1,500, which was already budgeted for. During February 6th, I made continuous reference to the $1,500 sponsorships.
So the difference is $250.
It's a difference of $250.
So what is it that you're asking?
What is it?
Well, this is the issue.
No, not, I'm saying, you brought this up.
What am I
yourself.
asking? Is
What
that
you-
we vote to continue the sponsorship, which provides us the opportunity to be spotlighted, advertised for 2 weeks, as we have done in the past.
So, basically, you're just saying, go ahead and spend $1,500 and get the logo.
Correct.
You just didn't say
I didn't know how to say that as simple. I'm not a simple person, I'm sorry.
It's
So, can you repeat that?
that. No, but that's fine, I don't.
Basically-
Listen, I think I'm fine. with
Okay.
it. I have no problem with it.
So does anybody have a problem with having our logo featured? Can we start with the left, the right, anywhere?
I'm not going to participate in a poll to see.
No.
There are different things that not only the city of Hiram, the county, and the city of Dallas, all with what things were supposed to be done that weren't getting done, and that's why we severed it. The chamber has already referenced that they are no longer ever going to be doing tourism.
That is incorrect, or?
Well, she said it at our retreat.
We
I
had-
was there.
We had a meeting this morning.
Well, wait, let me finish.
Okay, sorry about that.
At our retreat with the whole board member, and in fact, Mr. Tyrone was at that meeting, and Miss Stacy said the chamber's no longer doing tourism.
So I recorded the meeting this morning at 9 o'clock with the permission of all the participants, and it clearly said that they have a tourism director that's going to be there. I can't remember part-time or full-time, but I
Patty
did say.
Week is not a tourism director, she's a community director.
Okay, so she's a community director. I think I will allow, what I meant to do is share this this audio with everybody. So we are not supporting them because they don't have a tourism director?
Well, no, we decided because things weren't being done and being promoted. And I don't want to bring up the sponsorships and what happens because we've been told at the board meetings that when the chamber does a sponsorship, it is a fundraiser and it does not offset the cost of the event.
You're correct. She did state that today, and she explained what that means to our city manager, the mayor,
Well,
myself.
I wasn't at the meeting, so
Because
I
we had to
don't know.
avoid a quorum, so I did record it for those of you who could not attend. So you're saying because of the sponsorships,
And
which they
other-
have had in the past, but we re-engaged them in a contract. This, today, the topic that I placed on the agenda is to discuss the benefits and to ask, is this retribution? Is this retaliation? Is this because they
No.
had diversity, equity, inclusion in
No.
August? And that's when, because I witnessed, I was the only elected official present when there was a DE&I panel, which many people put pressure on her, and that was also discussed today. And then slowly but surely, I saw a lot of support being lost, and even our employee, Leo Parker, who benefited greatly professionally, was recommended that he does not serve the role as an ambassador. What does that look like to everybody? Does that not sound like retaliation? We talk about a contract. The contract has terms for 23 to 24. Everything on that contract checked off, and I brought copies of the contract at that meeting. It was strategically placed on the calendar when we had other board members. We have new board members now, but I'll speed you all up at another time. We severed ties with them prematurely because we said they weren't providing a level of advertising to our satisfaction. However, nobody reached out to the chamber's tourism director. They have a tourism director. Nobody reached out to that person. Nobody reached out to the president. No one has reached out to them to give them an opportunity to sit down, and it only happens today at 9 a.m. Not that they don't want anything from us, but it's just so I could understand what is going on in our county. Because when we don't support our Chamber of Commerce, we're not supporting small businesses, large businesses, nonprofits, citizens of the year. That is a direct impact on economic development, which hurts our county when we pull our support to them. That's all I said, and then we can vote on this next Tuesday. If there's anybody, please help me out, because maybe I'm seeing things in my own perspective. Maybe there's a different perspective that I can learn from.
The only thing I was going to say is we only had 2 elected officials that wanted to go. And we agreed to purchase a table for 8, and you said you would fill it even if you had to bring your mother.
And that was a joke, so we're not gonna.
No,
we're not
but
gonna
I'm
do
just
that.
saying.
That was a joke. I would say, no, you know what it was?
We bought the table for $1,250,
Correct.
and you're gonna get to go to the gala. I'm gonna be out of town.
It's not even about attending for me. It's about the principle, the transparency, the lack of integrity, the political triggers that made this decision happen. That's what it's all about. It's not about me attending. It's not about my husband attending. We bring our spouses. Spouses have been brought up in the past, but there's never, ever been a vote to say, hey, we can't fill at the table this year, so should we vote on tables or should we vote on chairs? That has never been done until this year, and it's quite interesting to me.
I thought you wanted the $250 added back to advertisement. That's not what we were talking about.
So our mayor emailed our,
No.
okay, I was informed that the mayor had demanded remove our logo from all of the advertising. Why would we do that when we are spotlighted for $250 worth of advertising that carries us for two weeks? That's advertising. Talk about, we severed ties with a entity over advertising. Quite contradictive, in my opinion, but that's why I'm here, because I'm part of a team and I'd like to know other people's opinion.
Oh, I already given mine.
You had it correct. It was a request. It wasn't a demand.
But listen, we're talking about advertisement. I don't think nobody need to get blown out of proportion.
It's not about the advertising.
That's
It's
what you
deeper
said.
than that.
Well,
It's
I'm
not about the
but I'm not
advertising.
gonna
Let's-
get in- I'm not getting into what's deep about. I'm getting into what you asked for.
We have
That's-
traditionally supported the chamber for
and-
$1,500. I made reference
And we've
multiple
already
times.
budgeted for it, right?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Is that correct? We budgeted for that? So,
Would either of you have a problem?
I mean, we just beating a dead horse.
Because we're discussing
Please
it,
don't
okay.
reference horses.
We could move forward. I said what I had to say. It's out there.
Good for you. Let's see. Discuss Veterans Memorial.
Mr. Jody, I put that on the agenda. Where do we stand? What has been done? This has been too long.
Well, for the past several weeks, it has been in plan review at Paulding County, going through the permitting process.
What has been there?
Here is a
The rendering that we got?
rendering you got, yes.
Okay. This is the drawing that went to them?
Yes.
Okay.
I almost ripped them apart.
A full set of plans to be able to conduct work on this job. We're still waiting until Thursday. That's when plan review will take place again for the final sign off. It should be a one-stop for the give us a permit to be able to move forward. And the engineer is ready with our terms and conditions. We're ready to do that. So we can go ahead and
I
get
have
this out
one.
for advertising.
Okay, and everything came back okay with the soil and everything? Because we didn't hear about it. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, there were no issues with the phase one study. There were no issues, but that was during the acquisition of the property. We've done topos, which is what I think you may be referring to, and there would be no result. It just generates the actual elevations on the property. The result would be the product that we're including in the plans.
So when it's done at the county, what's our next step?
We will take the assembled bid document and advertise it.
Okay. Have you, I have a question for Leo. Have you gone up and checked?
All the mines are at the polishing, wherever the polishing department or
Okay.
polisher at this time.
Okay.
They didn't give me a date of new arrival, so
And you have the flags and stuff? Okay.
we have everything but the mines.
Well, we have to move dirt first.
Well,
Okay. Well, thank you, because I'd like to see it move forward.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I know you all have been working on this for quite some time, and I definitely appreciate the work that was put into it. But I was just wondering, have we reached out to the residents to find out, since, you know, it is for the city, but maybe they may be interested in having at the memorial, part of the memorial?
What would be to add?
Or just what they would like to see, or just, I guess their input. Have we done that at all, or just?
We have had conversation with adjacent property owners as far as what we're doing with the property. And
They're
Never
excited.
indicated an issue with it, at least. And I don't know that we've gotten to every last one of them, but, you know, they've seen us out there, we've talked to them when they come up and spoken to us. And again, it's supposed to be in a serene location, it is a passive park, so the impact will be similar to what's there now. People will be able to picnic on it if they want to, not on the Veterans Memorial, but on the rest of the park. I mean, it should just continue functioning the way it does currently, but it may have a few more visitors coming out just to look at the memorial.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I got a question, Jody. The big circle at the entry, to the left of the parking lot, the big green circle, is that a tree?
It's some type of fauna, yes.
Well, we don't want that to be blocking the
Oh,
memorial,
it won't.
so,
It's either low hanging or low foliage.
okay. Just making sure it's not gonna be a elm tree that's gonna completely block the memorial from Harris Drive.
There has been an effort, like the two up front along Harris Drive, those would be actual trees that you replace ones that would take it down. And if it was something other than Virginia pines, so or loblollies for that matter, come back and install those. Most of the rest of this is for shrub.
Okay.
Anyone else? Discuss Gray's Mill. You had that on the agenda?
I asked Jody, I asked to place that on the agenda just for an update, but then I asked to be, I'm not sure if I followed through with you, Melissa, to ask to remove it, because I did ask Jody just to provide us with an update, and it didn't have to be in public forum. So I apologize for not reaching back out to you to remove it. I just wanted, if we can all be provided with an update. I know we re-engaged our engineers in August, and just wanted to know where we are, and if everybody here has provided and submitted their input of what they would like the design element to be.
Well, there's some elements of what we are, well, that's the master plan that we're talking about, right? I believe Ms. Carroll and Mr. Tressel were going to need to sit down and discuss what's going on in the park and what your ideas may be, and sit down with the engineer to do that. The rest of you have voiced what you would like to see incorporated. But if you have changes, I mean, you can come to us now. The current phase that we're under is still trying to provide sewer connection into the park, and I won't go into all the details there because some of that discussion has been an executive session for purposes that, you know, we explained there, and we are in the process of trying to move forward with that.
Same question, I'm sorry. Has there been any community input to Gray's Mill?
We had well, some of the children from Higher Elementary have, you know, engaged as far as getting some ideas through Aspiredale for ideas of the park. Part of the master planning, though, will be to do that, to facilitate a conversation like that. It's just trying to get this sewer project underway has been kind of challenging for us. Once I get beyond that, I'll be more focused on the master planning aspect of it. And then hopefully get us shortly thereafter to some sort of plan to move forward with development, either a phase-by-phase approach or a general application, and then start filling in.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, Leo, discuss the septic system upgrade at Public Works.
Good evening.
Whenever this building was first constructed, it was not meant for two departments to be in this building, so the septic is way too small, and it's already failing, and we're only gonna keep growing, it's not gonna get any smaller, so it needs to be replaced.
They've had a couple of episodes where it has backed up due to the small nature of the system. This will go a long way in correcting that, so they don't have any nasty surprises.
Any questions?
Definitely need it.
Discuss purchase of 2024 F-550 with dump truck body. Leo?
Our current dump truck is a 2000 GMC 7500. And as of today, the starter has went out on this truck, well, almost gone totally out. It's got multiple issues. It needs to be surplus. And this 550, me and team leader Christopher Schaefer feel that this will suffice for us, the small nature of our department, and very versatile in the small streets of the environment. We just think it'll work better for us.
I have a couple questions. Is it a 2001 or a 2000? Because on the cover sheet, you have it listed as a 2001 and then a 2000.
I've always been told after April, it's the next year, 2001, that it's after April that it's manufactured.
Okay. On the other question, you're asking for the 80,000 being split 40-40. This bid came out in November of 2023. Is it still good?
Yes, ma'am, as far as state contract.
Okay, so we know what the subtotal came to 78 plus, but then you got a fleet adjustment of 4,000 plus, which brought it down to 74 plus. Where's the other $5,968 that you need? Because if you take off the 74 from the 80, there's a difference of 5,968.
I believe it was on the last page, is the number I think.
This, but you already have the dump body in there on this page. You already have the dump body in there.
Right. We'll
So,
also have to outfit the truck as well with emergency lights and things of that nature.
but that's, okay, but that's not on this sheet.
Right.
And are you planning on getting a maintenance contract?
No, ma'am.
So we'll just absorb anything that happens.
I had not considered that, but the number that I went with is the total right here, 78,930.
I just don't understand how you're getting it when you have 74 on one and 78 and 76 on the other, and you already have, how about looking at it, you'll be able to tell. If you have it, it's this. You get your rebate of that. You're asking for this. That's what you're saying it's gonna cost. That's what's left. Your dump is there already, and you have it on here. So I don't understand the difference. So you have to explain it to me with the numbers.
Well, the only thing I can tell you is the number that I went with is on the very last page, total. And
I mean, I'm just going by the figures that are on these pages. That's the figure. The 18 is already there. The 18 is already on this.
okay.
So this is this minus this. It came up with that. This is everything. I was just questioning, it stood out to me, and I wanted to know when you have that much of a balance left.
Well, I went with the last number that I saw. And according to what I figured up, it comes to this.
Leo, can you run your numbers again and have an accurate number for us for next Tuesday night?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Discuss Boy Scout Troop 7's use of 76 Seaboard Street parking lot on March 22 and 23. Jody or Leo?
If you recall, in the past few years, Troop 7 has used the 76 Seaboard Street parking lot to stage their, usually about 2 or 3 tractor
And haven't you been able to utilize them to do some extra cleanups
That is
with you
correct.
guys?
And they also, the pawn shop that we did purchase from them, they also came in and showed it for us.
Questions? No. Discuss statewide mutual aid agreement renewal. Jody?
I'm going to defer to our chief on this. This is a request from Stephen Newby, the director of Hawley County EMA. And chief, if you would.
This is our annual agreement that we have with the state of Georgia for mutual aid. Let me explain the difference between mutual aid as it happens at the local level versus state level. We currently have mutual aid agreements with the Paulding County Sheriff's Department, Dallas Police Department, and I believe Powder Springs. In the event of an incident that occurs, we will provide assistance as we do on a daily basis. We're actually in the county probably at least once or twice a day to help answer calls for them when they're tied up. They in turn will come into the city when we're busy and help us out with calls. That's part of that. There's no costs that we share between those. This is a slightly different arrangement because it talks about the scale. For example, if we have a snowmageddon, and I hope we don't, where we have to call in state resources, particularly DOT, or in the event that we cannot get enough of our personnel in, have to call in state police resources from either the Georgia State Patrol, GBI, or other agencies to assist. The city would be responsible for providing certain reimbursements to the state. This just is a notification that we're aware that there may be some additional costs in the event of a large-scale emergency. I can give you an example. When I was in Albany in the floods in '94, we had a huge state presence there with our morgue detail and quite a few other things. Luckily, we were never charged for them. The state's very reluctant to do that. But in the event that they do request, we would be responsible for reimbursing the state for personal costs, use of their vehicles, and support of their personnel during an emergency. So this happens through every jurisdiction and it gives us access to all state resources that we need. Now, I apologize, but this is also a timely issue. This has to be returned to the state by the end of this week. Unfortunately, we got it late. So we would probably need to get some indication as to whether this may be signed or not, so that we may be able to get this back to the state.
We've got it up for a vote.
Yes, sir. Any questions I can answer?
The only question I had, Chief, is the new agreement any different than the previous agreements?
No, sir.
It's just identical to the ones that,
The wording's almost exactly the same.
okay.
Thank you, Chief. May I have a motion on item number 15?
I make a motion to approve the statewide mutual aid and assistance agreement.
I second.
Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Review?
All right, item number 2, the resolution regarding the annexation, new business, the budget amendments, consent, live streaming, no action, the council retreat, next work session, and you'll provide details to Jody. Hotel motel, next work session. City manager, new business. The chamber gala, new business. Veterans Memorial, no action. Gray's Mill, no action. Septic system consent. The dump truck, new business, when Leo gets that, those additional details. The Boy Scouts consent, and then of course the mutual aid agreement.
Okay. Regular session, March 5th at 6 PM here in the municipal annex. Bob, you got anything?
No, I'm good.
Tiffany?
I'm good.
Melissa?
Yes, sir. I just want to thank the chief of police and our staff for these amazing pamphlets of information. Please take one on your way out. They worked diligently on this, color-coded, all the services that you can need, so these will be passed out to our constituents. So thank you, chief. Everybody has theirs.
Derek? Jody? Melissa? Chief? Cliff?
Well, thank you, well, I just want to thank Kathy Stetson, she's right here, and my coworkers for looking out for me while I was out for the last 3 months. I don't have to go into why. They definitely looked out for me. So, thank you.
Welcome back.
And I have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to join the work session.
I second.
All in favor? We're out of here.